So good morning Anna, and welcome to our today's lesson. As I promised you yesterday, our lesson today is going to be ratio and proportion. Now this is a new topic, ratio and proportion, and just to understand what ratio is, this is a unit of comparison of measures of the same quantity. So if we have things measuring the same, different measurements but of the same quantity, we can be able to use the ratio. For example, if I draw two rulers here, and this ruler I say it's 12 centimeter, and another ruler 4 centimeter. All these are the same unit, centimeter, but the lengths are different. So we can be able to use ratio to be able to compare these particular measurements. So ratio is written as, we can start with any part, the smaller one or even the bigger one, but it's always good to start with the smaller one. So the ratio in this case will be 4, and then we say there's something we say 4 is to 12. What this means is that for every 4 parts we have of this smaller ruler, in the other ruler we have 12 parts of the same. So this is 4, the smaller ruler is 4 of the bigger ruler 12, which is 4 out of 12. It is 4 out of 12 of the bigger ruler. So if we can be able to understand that, then we can say the length of the shorter ruler, the length of the shorter ruler to the length of the smaller ruler. So that the length of the shorter ruler is 4. A is 2 is written using those two dots. A is 2. The length of the bigger ruler, which is 12. So the ratio is 4 is to 12. 4 is to 12. That is how we read that ratio. 4 is to 12. So sometimes you'll be told to simplify that ratio. Simplify and write as a fraction. You simplify the ratio 4 is to 12 and write as a fraction. If you want to simplify and write as a fraction, you first write this as a fraction, starting with the smaller ratio. So you write 4 out of 12. Or there is another way. You can simplify from this side, but let's do it this one. By 4, 1, by 4, 3. So that is as a fraction. It is 1 over 3. 1 over 3, why? Because by 4, 1, by 4, 3. So if you simplify the ratios, they give you 1 is to 3. So you take this as the numerator and this 3 as the denominator. And that will give you 1 over 3. Maybe we try another example. There are 240 boys and 360 girls in a certain school. So the boys are 240, and then girls are 360. Girls 360. Then the question is A. What is the ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls? Boys to girls. You want to get that question, you write it like that. Boys to girls. And then now take the number of boys, place it down here. 240, and then say 2. The number of girls, 360. You are done with that question. Number 2. Using the ratio obtained in A above, using this ratio that you have obtained from this particular question, express the number of boys as a fraction of the total. The number of boys as a fraction of the total. Very simple. Boys of a total in that case. So the number of boys is 240 is to the total. The total is this plus this. the total number of pupils in that school. This will give you 600. So the number of boys to the total, you can just write boys to total. In fraction form it will appear like this, but in the other way it appears like this. So you are told express the number of boys as a fraction. Remember, you are told as a fraction. So you are going to write as a fraction. You can begin doing like this, or you can simplify here. By 6, 4, I've cancelled this 0 and this 0 to remain with 24 and 60. And I continue. By 4, by 6, 4, by 6, 1. So as a fraction is 4 over 1, which is simply 4 over 1. Now in this case, if I use the fraction form just direct, I get the boys 240 over the total. And the total number of all these is 600. So this will cancel by 610 by 6 4. Maybe went wrong here. Yeah, went wrong there. Sorry, something went wrong there. We did not observe that 0. So this is 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. And then as a fraction, by 2, 2, by 2, 5. So a fraction is 2 out of 5. In this case, by 2, 2, by 2, 5. So the number of boys to the total as a fraction is 2 out of 5. That is what you are supposed to get there. We move on and do another question. So it's very, very important to understand the question as it has been asked. Express the ratio below in its simplest form by writing it as a fraction first. So the instructions are clear. You are given a ratio like 4 is to 25. To write that as in simplest form, you simplify this, but you first write it as a fraction. So if you are told that you write this as a fraction, this is 4 to 25. So this cannot be simplified, and therefore it remains 4 out of 25. Let's pick another fraction. 36 to 16. 36 is to 16. Write in simplest form by writing it as a fraction first. The simplest form you write as a fraction. So this will remain the way it is. 4 to 25. We will simplify this to still give you 4 to 25. Now this as a fraction is 36 out of 16. By 2, 18. By 2, 8. By 2, 9. By 2, 4. There is no common divisor, and so we don't write. We don't simplify to write a mixed ratio. We leave it like that. So you write this. So the numerator should come first. This becomes 9 is to 4 in a simplified form. Let me show you how it is 9 out of 4. That 6 is to 16. By 2, 18. By 2, 8. By 2, 9. By 2, 4. The reason why we wrote it as a fraction is because we are instructed to do that. But in case you are not instructed to do that, you just simplify it from here and you get the answer. 9 is to 4. So this one should give you 9 is to 4. Let's see another one. Write this in simplest form by first writing as a fraction that 2 is to 24. You write it in simplest form by first writing as a fraction. So as a fraction, this is that 2 out of 24. You have written as a fraction. And then simplify from this. By 2, 16. By 2, 12. By 2, 8. Divide by 2, 6. You continue simplifying because it's a common divisor. By 2, 4. By 2, 3. So your answer is 4 over 3. But now you're supposed to write it as a ratio in the simplest form. It becomes 4. The numerator starts is to the denominator 3. So your answer becomes 4 over 3. So you will not leave it as a fraction now. You are just simplifying, but you are first required to write it as a fraction then the answer should not be written as a fraction, should be left in this form, the way this one was. I move on and maybe do a word question. And here we are told the mass of Bogori's book is 210 and the mass of his dictionary is 560 grams. What is the ratio in the simplest form of? So there are 3 questions here. We need to simplify this statement into a workable statement. But Bogori's book weighs 210 grams. So that is the book. We want to translate it into something that we can be able to work on. Then the dictionary weighs 560 grams. Then the question is, what is the ratio? What is the ratio? What is the ratio in the simplest form? What is the ratio in the simplest form of? So the questions are here. Of A, the mass of the book, the mass of the book to the mass of the dictionary. The mass of the dictionary. So the question is, what is this ratio in the simplest form of the mass of the book? What is the mass of the book? 210 grams to the mass of the dictionary. Because they are the same units, we don't write the units. 210 is to the mass of the dictionary, which is 560. So you can simplify from there, or you can even write it first in a fraction, and then you convert it to the other form. These ones will cancel. You remain in 21 and 56. By 7, 3. By 7, 8. And the ratio will be 3 is to 8. If you first do it as a fraction, you will write 210 over 560. The reason why I cancel the 0 and this 0, you can see it here. You cancel like that. Then by 7, 3, by 7, 8. So my fraction will be 3 over 8, but I'm not supposed to write it like this. I'm supposed to leave it in ratio form. So the ratio form of this is the numerator first, then the denominator will follow. 3 is to 8. You can be able to say that. Let's go to the second question. So this I found is 3 is to 8. The next question, in that particular question, the mass of the dictionary to the mass of the book. The mass of the dictionary, the mass of the book. Things have changed now. It's the vice versa of what we did. What is the mass of the dictionary? 560. And because they are same unit grams and grams, we are not even supposed to write anything there. We are not supposed to write the units. In ratio form, we don't write the units. 560 and the book is 210. So this as a fraction is 560 over 210. This will give you by 7, 8, by 7, 3. This will give you the numerator first, 8 is to the denominator, 3. So the mass of the dictionary to the book. If you want to maybe to cancel from here, you do it. This and this will cancel. By 7, 8, by 7, 3. And these two dots is very important that you put. If you put 1, that means something different. So 8 is to 3 is the ratio. Then our last question, here we've gotten 8 is to 3. Then our last question, of course, is C. C says, what is the mass of the dictionary to the total mass expressed as a fraction? The mass of the dictionary, mass of the dictionary, mass of the dictionary to the total mass expressed as a fraction. So the question goes, what is the ratio in the simplest form of the mass of the dictionary to the total mass expressed as a fraction? So you first begin with the mass of the dictionary. You pick the mass of the dictionary, 560, and we are told this is to be expressed as a fraction. So you don't need to write as 560 to the total. No, write it direct from here as a fraction. So what is the total? You add this, 210 plus 560, 077. So it is 560 over 770, like that. Because we are told the mass of the dictionary over the total, and that one should be expressed as a fraction. This will cancel by 7, 8, by 7, 11. So this should be left as a fraction. So that will be 8 out of 11 as a fraction. You leave it as a fraction in this case. So it is 8 out of 11. So you write the total mass of the mass of the dictionary over the total mass of the two books. The two books, that is the dictionary and the book. So that will give you 210, 560. For you to get the total mass, you must add these two. Whenever you are talking about total mass, you must add the two. So that is all. Maybe I do the last one before I give you a few questions here to perform. A sack contains 180 oranges. So that is a word question. We need to simplify it to workable statements. Remember, that is very, very important, learner, if you want to get something in mathematics. A sack contains 80 oranges. So 180 oranges. Then, and 63 mangoes. 63 mangoes. If you write these small statements, you exactly simplify that particular word question. Find the ratio of the number of mangoes. So you begin with mangoes. You can even write that is to the number of oranges. Very, very easy. That one simplifies everything. And so you say, the mangoes are 63. You write 63 is to oranges 180. Simple as that. By 9, 7. By 9, 20. And your answers therefore becomes 7 is to 20. 7 is to 20. They have not said you write this as a fraction, but you can give ourselves a question and say, what is the ratio of mangoes to oranges written as a fraction? So you write mangoes 63 over oranges 180, and that should be left as a fraction. By 7, by 9, let's say 7, by 9, 20. So as a fraction, it is 7 out of 20. Remember always, when you're writing as a fraction, the numerator begins and then down the denominator. So the first number becomes our numerator and the second number becomes our denominator in that case. So up to that end, learner, I want to give you some work, and this work is not much. Exercise 111. Exercise 111. 111. This is on page 192 through page 193 through 193. So you are doing questions number 1, 2, 6. There are only 6 questions to be done. So do these questions well. Where you meet word questions, simplify them into workable statements like I have done here, and you'll find everything easy for you to handle. So until next time, learner, tomorrow when we meet, we'll be dealing with sharing ratio. Sharing ratio. We see how we can be able to share using ratio, and that will be our next lesson tomorrow. Until next time, learner, I wish you well. Have a blessed day. Thank you.